how does your mind affect the rest of your life and generalized balance?
A long transition, and kind of in a way the same approach that I made with bodybuilding, to inform myself and try to do it as best as I can. So my goals are not to be a competitive bodybuilder now. It's just how to age better. I don't know, healthy aging, optimizing your aging process, whatever you want to call it. I don't like the anti-aging, because it's like, you know, we're going to age, right? It's inevitable. We're going to die as well. All of that's inevitable. But how to do it optimally, like physically, mentally, spiritually, making the most of that experience and that part of your life. And I don't look upon it with any trepidation or any fear or anything negative. I'm enjoying the process, where a lot of people are saying to me, hey, it sucks to get old and this and that. Not from my point of view, it doesn't. I'm feeling good.
That's good. You look great.
Thanks.
I mean, when you're training as a bodybuilder, and I've also watched some of your other fitness videos where you're a very intense trainer. And do you take that same level of intensity and apply it towards your transition towards longevity?
I think I'm very focused, especially if I'm interested in something. I can be, if I'm not interested in something, it's very hard for me to absorb the information and to study it. But if I'm interested, I absorb the information, and as I did with bodybuilding, maybe experiment a little bit with your diet and supplementation, and see what's the outcome, and check your hormones and check your blood, and all this kind of feedback. So in a way, I'm kind of my own little experiment, how I can optimize myself during this, later decades, if you like.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, how did you come up with, when you're in bodybuilding? I mean, did you have someone that coached and guided you on what you should do, nutrition, diet, I suppose even hormonal improvements?
Not really. I mean, there was no such thing as a coach. Yeah. I mean, there were more experienced guys in the gym, or maybe there was a guy that owned a gym and he would have competitors from his gym that he would help and give advice on various things. And then you had the magazines and occasional people coming over from the USA. As when I started, it was really USA-based sport. All the top guys are from the USA. Every couple of months, there will be a top guy coming from USA doing seminars around the country, and so you could go and watch those and get information. But very much I did it myself. I think I really was attracted to bodybuilding because it was very individual at that point. People didn't have coaches and nutritionists. I had to go to the library and buy a book on nutrition with all the breakdown of macros and everything like that. And I enjoyed that process. I enjoyed the learning, the training, and it's kind of was doing this all on my own.
So when you started and you did the bodybuilding, looking back, was there anything that you regretted that you did in the way you trained, or what you took to get to that level?
I mean, because it's a learning process, right? And that's how I did it. I did it very systematically. I wrote down everything. So I actually wrote down.
So you kept it
I got every workout. From the day I walked in the gym and said, right, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. This is what I'm doing. I wrote everything down. I wrote every workout down. Every month I would assess what I'd done in that month, and then set myself some goals for the next month, as far as okay, I'm bench pressed 100 kilos now for 6. Next month I want to do 105 for 6 or 8, and every month putting these goals, writing down my diet, supplements I was taking, and the response. I was inspired a lot by Arthur Jones and Mike Mensa, who promoted this kind of high intensity training. And I was impressed by that. It made sense. It was logical. I could understand it. But more to the point, when I did it in the gym, it was working. And then guys were telling me, but other people do more and you should try more. And I'm like, okay, let me do that. I would up my training. I was only training 3 times a week when I started, because I wasn't using steroids and I was working as well. So then I try and train 4 or 5 days a week, and immediately my progress would stop. So then I go back to 3 days and it would start again. So, there's the feedback. The theory sounds great, but sometimes things in theory don't cover everything. But it worked in practice. And if I did more training, my progress slowed down. So I was always a believer in brief, high-intensity workouts. Got a bit more frequent as I got further along, but then I was a pro and I was using steroids and I wasn't having a job and I could rest all day. So, but the most I was training was 4 days out of 6 and no more than an hour workout.
So short and intense workout.
Yeah.
And then you said you became a pro and that's when you started using steroids?
No, I used steroids when I was an amateur as well. I mean, pretty quick. I started training in 83. I did my first contest in 85, so nearly 2 years in, that's when I started using, I mean, but it was like 20 milligrams a day of Anavar or Dynabol that I was using.
So it wasn't a testosterone base? And
it wasn't even an injection, because everyone was a bit nervous about having an injection initially. So everyone would pretty much start with the orals, although like theoretically we could say the orals may be harsher on your health because you've got to go through the liver, but you know, it's a pill. Like sticking yourself with a needle was like serious stuff at that point. So that's all I used. And then I used a little bit more, and I was British champion by 86. So, you know, my first contest that I went into on a very little, like 20 milligrams, I went on stage in a novice class and just everyone was blown away. And they said I was the best heavyweight they had in the country at that point. I didn't believe them, to be honest. I got
good genetics, good training.
Yeah, good genetics, good training. Didn't waste time. I studied training. I studied nutrition. I learned what I could about steroids. And so I think I didn't waste time. Plus, I had very good genetics. So after 2 years, I was like able to win a national standard, which is not, you know, is not normal, right?
Fantastic. And then did you add anything else like HGH in down the road?
I didn't. I used growth hormone. I think I used it just a little bit when I was getting ready for my first pro show, but it was only during the dieting period, and there was a low dose for IUs a day for the last couple of months. So it may have helped me get leaner, but it was 1992 when I used it in off season, and then I was using 8 IUs a day, which was I considered to be a good effective dose. And then I noticed, not overnight, but it was almost like my off-season weight had stalled at about 20 stone, so it's about 280.
Yeah.
So I was big anyway, but I kind of like felt that was a plateau I was kind of sticking at for about a year. And then when I started using the growth hormone at this 8 IUs a day, it's almost like it took away that barrier, and I started, not dramatically overnight, wow, he's put on 20 pounds, no, but slowly, you know, went from 280 in a year to like 290. Wow. And then the next year was 295, 300. So it was like a different level with the muscle mass, I think, with the growth hormone. But yeah, I didn't use that until I was pro.
And then when you eventually left doing professional bodybuilding, did you stay on certain hormones? Or
well, here's the thing. So I tore my tricep tendon in 97, getting ready for the contest. And after the contest, I had a surgery to reattach it. And then I wanted to see, like, how will it go to get back into training, and is it possible that I could do another Mr. Olympia? I don't know until I start training. I don't know how the tricep's going to look, how it's going to function, or anything. So slowly get back into training. But I realized at some point, so I was using some steroids during that point, some testosterone, some nandrolone, just, you know, to help the recovery and to start training, getting the size back and everything. And I realized that there was just a big difference in the strength, the function of the left to right side. Not only that, aesthetically, it looked different. The medial head had really torn and reduced. So then I'm like, well, let's just be honest, I can't train properly. There's no way I can compete with the best in the world. And I was lucky, you know, to be able to get through to the contest last time and win it, because I couldn't train for the last 3 weeks with a severe injury. No point to go and try again, because I couldn't even match that, and I'll get beaten, and what's the point of that? I had, maybe I'm a bit of extremist, I guess. Who would want to be the best in the world at anything? It's a bit extreme, right? So you must be. So I said, I'm using steroids as a tool of the trade, and like, you know, that's it. So when I finished steroids. And also my wife at the time was like wanting to have another baby, and we were kind of like, let's put it off until I finish. And then like I got more time, and let's fix the hormones, and so there was that as well. So I said, I'm just going to stop. And I just stopped. I just stopped cold turkey. And that was not, I'm definitely advising you not to do that. Yeah?
So I was going to ask you, how did that play into your mental health at the time? And
well, it was, I guess it was potentially devastating on my mental health. It's hard to say because there was a lot of other factors.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I retired from something that was totally absorbing and was my whole life and becomes your whole identity. So now that's taken away and I really don't know who I am or what I should do. Or, I mean, there's not even, was a complete cutoff because there's no internet or anything then. So, you know, the world is,
so this is
the world is a small place now. Yeah. You know, you can message your friend or the other side of the world and all this. It was a different time. You're only visible as a professional bodybuilder in magazines or on videotapes. Now I'm finished media, and I'm cut off. There's no social media. There's no way. And I don't know. I just felt like I didn't know who I was. I felt like things in my personal life, in my marriage, that were probably not good, but I had been putting my head in the sand as I was.
Yeah.
Just need to be like that. Some things you can't confront, or you don't want to because you need to keep focused, and as a competitor. So there was that, and somebody else, somebody in my family that was young, and they died very unexpectedly. So all these things happened within a year period, and my hormones were like on the floor. And I went to see an endocrinologist, and after talking with him, he said, to be honest, as far as like, you know, recovering yourself and your testosterone and everything after steroids, I think you know more than me. I mean, this was like devastating. I'm like, I come here for advice, man. And shall I do HCG? Shall I do that? And he's like, I don't know. Basically, you probably sound like you know more than me. So he was just a fertility doctor. He didn't know anything about that, like the testosterone. And yeah, mentally I was having a hard time. I was like having anxiety attacks in the night. And I mean, eventually it took me about 2 years, but I've just worked it out myself. Like let me take some testosterone, and things leveled out. Then I was able to think a bit more clearly and deal with things. But it was a very, I don't know how it would be if I was, the only factor I had to deal with was that I was coming off testosterone and I had low testosterone. Under normal circumstances, how would I feel? I'd probably feel depressed, but there was also an avalanche of things that I had to confront at the same time. So yeah, I was, I mean, as low as you want to talk about. I was suicidal. I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what the point is. And who was that guy? Who was that guy that won all those contests and was like on top of the world and was like a king? I mean, who was that? I don't even know who that was. Like, that's how I was feeling at the time. And, you know, just having a shot of testosterone didn't fix all those things, but it eventually put me in a better frame of mind to be able to think a bit more logically and so on, and work things out. And it took me a long time to I don't know why I felt like that. I felt like the Mr. Olympia's over.
Yeah.
And now I need to be somebody else. Like, I need to reinvent myself and be somebody else. But in fact, being Mr. Olympia is always going to be a big part of my life and a big part of it. But it's not, you know, it doesn't sum me up. It's not my identity. It's part, and it's a huge part of my life, because otherwise nobody interested in talking to me, right? And I wouldn't be able to get my views across and hopefully just help people with my life experience, especially guys that are younger and they want to, you know, they don't have a lot of people to look up to. That I've been there. I've lived life. I've been.
Now you want to give back.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I think that's the whole point, really. In the end, you achieve your goals, you win your battles, you win your trophies, you win some money, and all this stuff. But there's always a greater purpose, I believe, behind it, and that I have a platform and that I can reach people. I think is what I'm doing now.